First, let us look at the different types of organization. In general, we distinguish between the parent organization and the project organization. For instance, if Aker Solutions is about to conduct a major project for Statoil, indeed, not everybody from Aker Solutions go and join that project. There are some people who will be assigned that task from Aker Solution. And this group of people, we call them the project organization. And the parent organization, in this case, is Aker Solution. And what Akers do? Akers do the line management, the routine management tasks. They hire resources, they allocate resources to each individual project. They look after all these human relations in the organization. They who hire, they are they who write contracts, and they are they who are developing these resources. And the parent organization is also a gatekeeper in the sense it is actually up to the parent organization to start a project or to bid for a contract. It is not the project organization who does that. Project organization has one task: to lead, coordinate resources to achieve the project goal or the project mission. The parent organization is structured, usually, of course, is structured in functions. You have at the top the CEO, and then under this person there are a lot of departments, a lot of functions. Let's say marketing, let's say production, let's say economy, development, whatever. It depends on the type of the organization. And under each department there are resources, people, facilities, and support facilities that report to this chief of that particular department. So information here, as you can see, is top-down information. Top managements take decisions, and then they prioritize how these resources will be used, and then the information goes down to these specialized resources. Now, in each department, as you can see, you have one specific speciality, one specific discipline. Under the economy, you will find people who dealing with accounting, people dealing with contracts, people perhaps dealing with sales and new investments. So they are the people who are dealing with the money, sort of. And then people who are dealing with research and development, they have perhaps some scientists, some technical engineers for testing, for laboratory, for quality testing, and so on. This form of organization has actually existed since Taylor wrote his book, Scientific Management. He said the best way to run an organization is to group the people into functions. And each function, you should have the best people. And then you can cooperate between, or you can, these functions could cooperate horizontally. Now, when we are doing projects, as if you recall, is not really an ongoing operation. Projects are one-time effort. You do it in order to achieve a certain goal. Then how are we going to select people from the parent organization and allocate them to a project? In project management literature, one can say that we distinguish between three types of project organizations. We have the one that is so-called classical organization, which means that it is the same as the functional organization. We don't do anything different. It's business as usual. The projects are executed within the boundary of the line organization. We don't create another structure. Everything is done within the boundary of the line organization. And then we have something called the full authority. Full authority, which or sometimes it's called heavyweight project organization, or sometimes it's called project structure. Here, actually, this project organization is taking out from the traditional boundary lines of the parent organization or the line organization. We create a new temporary organization and we take it out from this line management functions. And we have something in between. It is usually called the shared authority. Shared authority, it means that yes, we create a project organization, but we don't really give them enough authority. The authority is always shared between the project managers and the line managers. It's like a compromise. And this compromise can be divided further into a weak organization, weak matrix, strong matrix, and balanced matrix. This matrix organization works especially if you don't have enough resources to do projects and enough resources to do your traditional organizational work, the routine work that sustained the organization. Then you have to share between them. And it is usually called the Nordic model. Now, how this functional structure looks like. It looks like a normal organization. It says that all the projects or each project is run in one line. And the line manager is also a project manager, which means that a line manager could be a leader for several development projects, for instance, if the projects are about developing new things. And this project leader, who is the same as the line manager, he selects resources, he tells these people, you work 10 hours here, you focus today on that, you focus today on other things. And this line manager controls everything, the budget, the time, resources, and all that. And if they need assistance from other departments, they contact this department that they need resources from. For instance, if they are doing a research project and they need some assistance from the production department regarding production tools, production strategy, and so on, then they contact the vice president for production, and then the vice president for production find time and give the assignment to one particular person from the production. As you can see, this kind of communication can take a lot of time. So it has some advantages and it has some disadvantages. The advantages, everything remains under the firm design. We don't change anything. The line managers are in charge, whether it's an ongoing operation or whether it is whether it is a project. And of course, when people are working in these projects, they foster developments. That is in-depth knowledge. They become even better and better and better and better because they are working within their specialized fields. And not the least, the project team member remained connected with the line organization. The loyalty is still there. They have one boss, and that boss is their boss all the time. It doesn't really matter if they are working on projects or on an ordinary operations. So here we really keep the status quo of the organization. But the weaknesses, one of the most fundamental weakness is what we call a functional siloing. What does that mean? It means that usually these line managers, they are very, very much concerned with the prosperity of their own departments. They are unable to see how a project will impact the entire organization. And if you recall again, one important thing about project is this impact, is this outcome, how it will impact the entire organization, how it will create value for the entire organization. One of the weaknesses of this structure is failing to see this picture. So they don't have this bird eye view when they work on projects. And another disadvantage is this lack of customer focus, because these people are very, very much concerned with the technique and how they work with in-depth Korea. And as you can see, projects takes longer time, because first you communicate vertically, and then you go horizontally, and then you go back vertically. So this cross-functional communication doesn't exist actually. Everything has to do with the top management. So projects takes longer time. And the focus is not the impact, but it is always the process itself and adhering to the requirements of that particular department. And for that reason, they sometimes, rather than optimizing the situation or the work for the project itself, they do the opposite. They optimize the project themselves to fit with the context. Now, on the other hand, we have this full authority project organization, or heavyweight, or project structure. Here, actually, we have our own department for projects, and we say we have, for instance, as you can see from this diagram, a project called Project Alpha and another project called Project Beta. And we take resources from each department and we allocate them to this project. We say, you guys here, you work only with this Project Alpha, and you guys here, you work only with this Project Beta. You don't get involved in any other project. And your boss is the project manager. He or she decides. So you see, we here create another organization, and this organization has full authority or almost full authority. All decision is made in the project. So this project structure, right, have many good advantages. Like the project manager is the sole authority of the project. This results in improved communication inside the project organization, improved communication between the project organization and the client. If decision making is very quick. That's why they call sometimes this type of organization tiger teams or task force. They go, people working all the time on one particular project, and bang, give the results. And here, of course, you don't create an expert in telecommunication, but you create an expert in managing projects. The weakness, on the other hand, is, of course, if you don't have enough resources, enough people, you can't use this kind of structure. And another problem that sometimes when the project gets longer, the loyalty shifts from loyalty to the main organization or the parent organization and go to the project itself. And another problem that the organization or the parent organization loses this knowledge. Think about it. People, 5, 6, 10 people who are experts in their field are taken out from the organization and assigned to only one single project. Then what happens? You are, in a way, are draining the parent organization from these resources. This knowledge, the knowledge they have, cannot be shared anymore. And another problem with this kind of organization that our workers are unassigned at project end. This is because at the end of the project, which takes a longer time, usually these people have to come back to the parent organization and start looking for opportunities. Because the link between them and the parent organization was broken underway. Now, the third level is called the matrix organization. Matrix organization is in fact compromise. We want to run our tasks using project structure, but we don't have resources. And we have ongoing operations that we should always look after and take care of. And we don't have enough resources to do both. Then we try to share these resources. So actually, this matrix structure is about the best possible way to share resources. So what is the strengths here? As you can see, here we can add, put in, take out resources according to the needs. And we emphasize both line management and project management equally. Hopefully, if this works fine, then it becomes like a textbook example of excellent coordination and communication between functional units. The communication here is not only top down or horizontal, it is across diagonal, semi-diagonal communication. And again, it's about maximizing the lack of resources. The weaknesses are many. Now, you as a person who are working in this organization, you have two bosses usually, and maybe three, and maybe four, because maybe you are working on several projects at the same time, and you have one boss, the line manager. Then who is really your boss here in that sense, in that situation? And another problem is all the time there should be some sort of negotiation between the party. I need a resource X. And the other one, I really need resource X. And the other one, I say, I have a deadline and I need this resource X. How can we share this particular person? Of course, sadly, in many situations, the overload goes on that X rather than sharing X. It becomes overloading X. And this impacts, of course, these workers. They become all the time have a problem how to balance these competing project and functional demand. So here you have a situation where there is a lot of stress. In fact, with this matrix structure, everybody is stressed. Everybody can feel panic. The project manager, they feel panic because they lack day-to-day authority over resources. They are the line management that still decide because the line organization is still there. So the project managers feel stress. They are not able to control their resources. And sometimes they feel not only not able to manage, but sometimes they feel resistance. If the workers prefer, for instance, to work on another project rather than their own projects, then these project managers will feel stress because of this resistance and because of lack of commitment from other team members. There is always another problem, a problem of conflicts, in the sense that, for instance, project managers who are juniors project managers and they try to delegate assignments to senior employees usually meets a strong resistance because these senior employees think that these project managers really don't know anything. They are so young, can't really trust what they say. So this is like a dilemma, an issue project managers all the time has to to deal with. And maybe another problem that maybe didn't appear on the slide here is this problem of duality, as I told you. If you are an employee and you have project manager 1, project manager 2, and you are line manager, and you are supposed to report to each one of them, and you're supposed to have loyalty to each one of them, to which one of them you will have your loyalty? And this reporting time also, or this reporting takes also some time. So working on matrix organization, although it is good for the company, but it's no good for the people, the resources, is no good for the project manager, and it's no good for the line manager. It can be easily come to a conflict situation. So in the classroom, I was thinking to give you this simple assignment and ask you to think about some good measures on how to deal with that.